everyone. Paula Diedrich. She, her. So I want to thank anyone that has responded to the email asking for feedback. We appreciate that. I'll probably put that out one more time this coming week so we can get some feedback. We got a variety of feedback so far, not just like this is why I can or can't come, but other ideas too. So we'll be sharing that. So welcome. I see some faces that we haven't seen for a while, so welcome back. I don't think we have any new faces, right? Awesome. All right, so updates, May Day. Brad, anyone, do you want to talk about May Day? Any update? You have flyers, but yes.
We do have flyers. There's some at every table. Spread them around town, put them up where you can. Things will be starting at the Marquette Commons at 4 o'clock with rally and some speakers. And after the speakers are done, we will march from the Commons up to the post office and then hang a left or go west down to Harlow Park and circle back. So bring signs appropriate to the occasion. There's all sorts of information on our newsletter and on our website about this nationwide May 1st event. So lots of ideas for signs, and just looking forward to seeing everybody there. No, the rally will go as long as it goes. We're not really in charge of that. The Labor Federation has been the coordinator and the organizer of the rally, and the rally will go as long as they have speakers for and program for. And I think they're still getting the speakers lined up. And so as soon as that is done, then we'll do the march.
And I just wanted to, I guess, reiterate that the Labor Federation is the lead person or the lead party for this May Day event. We are usually in the National Education Association's toolkit, so that is part of the deal. We're trying to really emphasize supporting education and teachers and public education. I think that it's important to note that Indivisible's movement that coincides with the May Day events, one of the messages, the key messages that they really pushed is not, everyone can't do everything, or, you can't just choose everything to participate in, but everybody can choose something to participate in that day, and that's really important. So when we talk, I've had a lot of people ask questions about supporting small businesses, and if we have to shop, can we still use a local store or whatever? And of course, if you have to shop, that's what you do. You choose to use a smaller, mom and pop or locally owned store. We want to really make sure that message is clear, that we are trying to build and flex our learning muscles on how to do a monetary blockage to the government. So that down the road, if we call for a mass big, everybody, it's really important we participate. We've practiced this, we know how to do it, we plan ahead, and we have the systems in place. So we are considering this kind of a practice run on the heels of what happened in Minnesota and the success that they had. We're building on the backs of many good examples, and we're also wanting to celebrate workers in the United States and the advent of unions and the safety that has brought to a lot of American people. So in all of that, just try to remember that we're not expecting you to, if you can't, walk or not go to school at all, maybe you can stage a 5-minute bathroom break for everybody at the same time. Or at work, the same thing. If you're a company, you can't afford to miss your job that day, whatever, try to work with your fellow employees to make sure that everybody takes a break at 2 p.m. And, you know, even if it's only for 15 minutes, leave the building empty and make sure that, you know, you're tracking that and posting it, talking about it with your neighbors, putting it in your social media. So that's what I wanted to say about May Day. And again, the Labor Federation is hosting it. They chose this time slot from 4 to 6. They're getting the speakers, and whenever they conclude with their presentation, we will then leave the Commons, march down Washington Street, and I believe our goal is to get down to the 7th Street crosswalk, stop traffic light, and then come back down Washington, and so we get back to the Commons, or wherever you've parked at. So that's the plan for Friday. And do you want us to talk about the rest of LSRI while we're up here? Yeah. Okay. So you got more to say about that? So we have an event, an all-member event coming up on May 20th. We're going to have that at is it the Scandia Township Hall? From 6 to 8. And we have a speaker that's going to be coming up for the, promote the vote. I know it was a P word, sorry. Had a lot on my plate today. Promote the vote, so we would encourage you to come and participate in that. We've talked a little bit about making more progress towards the 4th of July parade, and I just wanted to say that we did have a volunteer to step up as the lead person for that and offered to pay the fee. So we will start having roundtable meetings for the 4th of July parade as we see that is going to move forward in one fashion or another, and would love your input and help and support in that. What else?
Let me just say a few things about it. I wanted to say a few things about Promote the Vote and the all-member meeting on May 20th, which is going to be at the Scandia Township Hall. Mackenzie Waltz is going to be representing the Promote the Vote organization, which is a coalition of a lot of nonprofits. It's all about election security and improving access to the vote. She's a very amazing person with a lot of information. She wants to know from us what we want to hear, what our questions are about election security, about the upcoming midterms. What can we do to make sure that this runs smoothly? What are the things we can do to prevent problems? What are potential problems? She wants to hear from LSRI and anybody who's coming to that meeting what we want to hear from her and what we want to talk about at that meeting. So in the last LSRI newsletter, which just went out yesterday, we had a chance to there was a request for you to complete a survey about the issues concerning the election and election security that you're interested in. There's going to be another brief email going out tomorrow with the same survey. We've only gotten 9 responses. We want a bigger response from our membership so that we can give Mackenzie an idea of what we'd like to hear, what we'd like to engage with her about. So look for that email tomorrow. Is there anybody here not getting the LSRI newsletter? Everybody on the mailing list? I'll make sure you get a card. Yeah. And then look for that reminder email tomorrow. We really want to hear from people and what we want to talk about. Ms. Waltz is up here for 3 days, and she's going to be speaking to 3 other indivisible groups. So anyway, that's hope to see you all there. That's it for that.
While I have the mic, I just wanted to say there is sliced cake in the back. It's a little bit frozen still, so hopefully it'll unthaw quickly. It is in celebration of Pastor Chris Hendricks and her 80th birthday today. We're hoping that she shows up. She had an event. She was here.
She was here, but had a Zoom call for the Christmas she had planned since we decided.
Okay, so for those of you on the internet, apparently she was here but left for other obligations. So if you are seeing this or hearing about it, Pastor Chris Hendricks, happy birthday. We so appreciate you. and the cake is in celebration.
Anyone go to the? If you see anything on the agenda, I don't even like calling it an agenda. I think of it more like a basic outline. If you see anything under the possible updates or feedback that you could speak about, did anyone go to the Turning Point UP Legislative Panel last Friday? Oh, so I'm hearing from the crowd that maybe there wasn't a good turnout at all. Okay. UP Pride Fest is under upcoming one-time events. I have added the date, June 13th, noon to 11 p.m., and that's in Lower Harbor Park. And there is the uprainbowpride.org to sign up for volunteering. Is there anything else regarding that Donovan? Okay, come on. Just cut me off. Just start walking up.
Do you think I can get this? Okay, real close to the mic, real close. Not that close? Hello? Mike? Mike, are you here? Okay. I came up under the understanding of UP Rainbow Pride, Pride event, June 12th? 13th is what I said? So last year, for the first time ever, I got together a small coalition of people founded largely in local congregations to help do the teardown for Pride the day afterwards, which would be June 14th, if my words are coming correct now. So we'll be doing that again this year. There's just been an email sent out to a number of different pastors in the area asking each congregation to have 4 to 5 people show up Sunday morning. It's largely not scheduled because previously the Rainbow Pride Board has just kind of shown up whenever they woke up the next day or whenever they, ceased to try sleeping for that evening rather. So if we could have some more people show up Sunday morning, I'd say people start moving around 7:30, 8 o'clock at the earliest. More people flock in around 9. Be greatly appreciated. It's mostly tearing down fences, actually hauling fences to the rental property. So anyone with a truck, we need trucks. That's going to be a big deal. And so we'd appreciate help with that. Additionally, another piece of that I've put together that we are hoping will build this year is on Sunday we are looking to do, the idea with the cleanup was to get allies, was to give allies something that they could do and participate with. So please, allies, show up for that. Queers, feel free to show up for that as well. But more pointed to queers in the community, if there's anyone in your local circle, friends, family, acquaintances, or otherwise that identifies themselves readily as a part of the LGBTQIA community. Words are here, I swear. We will be doing an interfaith service at St. Paul's Episcopal to send our energies forth. Pride comes along, we've all seen it, the month comes in, and back in the day when the corporations were playing ball, they all made a nice rainbow logo and said, "We love you," and then, the moment June ended, they said, "Screw that shit, let's go." We kind of, as a community, have a little bit of guilt around that as well, where we go, "Yay, this is our moment to flaunt it," and then afterwards it's like, "God, screw this freaking, this whole society that can't figure out that we're valid." So I'm really rambling at this point in time. One of my pushes as both an ordained priest and also as an identifying gay man, more or less, is to try and bridge the gaps between the spiritual community and the queer community. There's a lot to be gleaned from spiritual practice. Community, at its heart, is one of those great things. So our idea is to kind of assemble something to send forth that energy and to also bring queer people into the spiritual world. There's very good odds that there are more of them other than myself that are looking for something like that. And they may not know how many congregations like the lovely one that hosts us this evening that is very welcoming and open and happy to have them. So at 1 o'clock on that Saturday, now I'm getting to the bullet point, that Sunday, June 14th, we'll be gathering at St. Paul's Episcopal to have a little interfaith service commemorating all of the energies we gather in Pride and sending them forth out into the rest of the year. So keep that in your conversations and in your hearts, wherever you seem appropriate. That's Pride. Since I've got the mic, and I like to talk into them and stare at 20 people at the same time, I'll also just give a little quick update on what my We the People Action Team has run recently, working with the Marquette County Commission. I think some of you already got this rundown. When I was exhausted and dropped in, I was like, I have to say something last week. But I've had a little bit more time to ground myself now, and I'm happy to share that we hosted a town hall at the library last Monday. We had 30 people show up. We had representatives from the Jansen House, from Mark Tran Board, and one RN representing the healthcare sector, and 0 board commissioners, which was kind of a bummer. But fortunately for us, the very next night was a board meeting. So we showed up and gave some public comment there, and we're actually really pleased to receive commission comments back saying that they're interested in having a conversation of how to distribute the $5 million offset surplus reserve, whatever you want to call it, that exists currently in their general fund on behalf of getting American Rescue Plan Act funds back in 2022. So we consider that a win, and we're hoping to continue to push that conversation forward and make sure that they see that transit isn't the only thing that deserves help with some of that money, and continue to look outside of the courthouse to figure out what can actually be bolstered to have a more sustainable community here in Marquette County. So, thank you.
The food co-op neighborhood cleanup, I was not able to attend, debating money. Okay. The librarians' film and panel discussion was on a beautiful night last Thursday, and they were very worried that no one was going to show up, but there was a few of us that showed up. They were happy to see us. It was a powerful documentary, and then the panel discussion afterwards was also helpful for me even. I knew a lot about this being newly retired English teacher and censorship. That's part of my world. One of the things that they said though is, of course, that film focuses on the battle in Texas and a couple other places and how horrible that was. There were some librarians that were like having their own security, and it's bad. There was one woman who was recruited from the Moms for Liberty kind of group. It's all Patriot Phone, it's all interconnected, right? But she went to a meeting about how horrible material is being held in these school libraries, and she's like, oh yeah, that can't happen, I'm gonna run. And she ran for school board and found out that isn't what is actually occurring. And so she actually got blacklisted very quickly because she stood up and said, wait, no, this isn't right. What you're saying is wrong. They did talk about, however, there are lots of wins happening, because that really focused on the battles and where maybe there aren't as many wins. But I can't remember his name, for the Michigan Library Association. Dylan, thank you. He spoke about the fact that there are lots of wins. The other thing I had as a takeaway, and I'd love for anyone else to share their takeaways, was just like so often, people don't understand the process, right? and like exactly what it takes to get a book to be able to get into the library and where it ends up in the library. And then what happens if there is a complaint about it, and all of that process, all that hidden work. So that was one of the things they said is, one, if someone's questioning, a lot of times if they just come and speak to the library staff, they go, oh, okay, I didn't realize that. So that is one of the things that they also talked about. Does anyone else want to share? Oh, yay.
It's fixed.
Okay.
Now you're on camera.
Oh, great. Hi, my name is Emily. I am a local librarian, and I just wanted to share a couple of things. So Dylan Geschel of the Michigan Library Association was at this event. He also hosted an event earlier in the week that was more of a professional development opportunity for local librarians. It was totally free. I got to attend that, and we learned a lot about yeah, sorry. Oh gosh.
Feedback we're getting is the audio and the speed isn't loud enough, so.
Okay, sorry, I'll do louder. It's hard for a librarian, you know. Yeah, okay. One of the main things that we discussed was what activism looks like in libraries. He brought a lot of really interesting ideas to our awareness, and the event was actually put on by a think tank / political action committee called Every Library. I would really encourage you guys to check them out. They are pretty much present in, I think, 78 of the 85 book banning lawsuits happening in the country right now. They support organizations going through that and provide, legal backup as well as policy ideas grounded in actual civil rights laws. So it gave me and a lot of other librarians across the UP and across the state of Michigan a lot to think about in that regard. So that's kind of on the professional development side of things. On the general public side of things, the Michigan Library Association has a campaign that's been going on for a while called the MI Right to Read, MichiganRightToRead.com, and I would encourage you all to sign up. There's an informational newsletter that goes out about it. There are petitions to sign, and there are a lot of educational resources for you to learn more about this issue and to be involved. And so if anybody would like to do that and you have questions or you just want to have a conversation about it, please come talk to me because I would love to talk to you about that. Okay, thanks, bye.
Anyone else? Okay.
Hi, I'm Ruby Miller. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm an organizer with We the People Michigan. I think you guys all know that. It's a little automatic. Thanks Donovan for the shout out about the town hall last week. Just really proud of the team and the conversation that came together around this money that currently, Donovan mentioned not using it all for public transport. Right now, none of it is planned for public transport. Most of it's planned for facilities improvements, specifically on the courthouse and the new jail. And I'm not anti-historical building, but for COVID relief funds and knowing what people are struggling with, $5 million. Yeah, exactly. The dog's growling here for those of you who can't hear it online. Yeah. 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 That's how I feel about $5 million being used for something else. But some of you may know that Dana Lalonde is now an organizer as well with We the People. So I have a coworker in person up here, which is great. And she is hosting her second listening session, a rural healthcare listening session. That's happening tomorrow night from 6 to 7:30. Community listening session on rural healthcare in the UP, hosted by We the People Michigan. This session is an opportunity to share your experiences with the healthcare system, connect with others, and help shape solutions for our region. We'll focus on what's working, what's not, and what we can do together to improve rural healthcare. Whether your experience has been positive, frustrating, or somewhere in between, your perspective is needed. And I've got the registration link right here. It's at Love and Bicycles out in Ishpeming. Nagani, sorry, the locations, you get the location when you sign up. But I'm gonna tell you guys, I guess. So if you're interested in being part of Dana's listening session on rural healthcare, let me know, I can point you at the link.
Thank you for the reminder, I forgot that.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else?
So I have two other things. There is what Graham brought up last week about the Marquette County Planning Commission survey. And I put that in the notes, and I'll put that in the notes again this time. And when I was looking for that, I also found the Marquette City Climate Action Plan survey. So if you're in the Marquette City, I did the survey, and there were things like, I work in Marquette. So even if you're not a resident, if you come to Marquette, one of them is, like, I live there, I've lived there all my life, right? One of the options was, I work in Marquette. So you get a chance to do that survey too. That is till May 31st, I think I wrote. Okay, anything else? Any ideas? Oh, yeah.
I always remember how short I am when I come here. So, hi, it's Tori, she, her pronouns. I currently am here to announce a couple events coming up that might be relevant to everybody here. They're not political, they're just good opportunities. Tomorrow, the Nagani Senior Center is having a mobile Secretary of State event. Mobile Secretary of State. So it's just like going to the DMV Secretary of State as normal, but instead it's going to be at the Nagani Senior Center. If anybody, needs anything like that, it's walk-in. I work there. All my opinions are mine, not the Nagani Senior Center's. I'm going to clarify that. But so that's tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. And I believe we're going until. Let me check. I have the page up. Should have checked before I came up here. Yep. So that's going to be 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The other thing is, again, another event coming up at the Nagani Senior Center. Especially obviously our seniors, if you're having any trouble with your phone, or you know somebody's having trouble with their phone, their laptop, their email, any of that jazz, we are having a tech help session. So if you just call the Nagani Senior Center, you'll end up talking to me, and I can get you scheduled, and they'll help you best they can. Sale is coming, so there's that. And then the last thing is, again, Nagani Senior Center related, we are looking for a volunteer through RSVP Marquette to come help us and our students with our garden. So if you know anybody, or you are somebody who's interested in that, we are looking for that right now. I believe that's everything. The biggest one was the Secretary of State, which is tomorrow. Again, walk-ins are welcome and encouraged, and you don't have to be a senior to come do it, but if you are a senior, that's also awesome, because we are.
What sale is? You said sale's coming, what does that mean? Superior Alliance for Independent Living.
Yep, it's the Superior Alliance for Independent Living. It's an acronym that I'm not good at remembering the definition of, because I type SAIL more than Superior Alliance for Independent Living. Thanks.
The RSVP for garden?
For the garden, yeah. So they're looking for a volunteer for the students that can help.
Okay, so I can get it right in the notes?
Yes, please.
Anything else? Oh, yeah. I think you guys just want to see how often I come up and sit and back and forth.
Yes.
Like, how many times can we get Paula to come back and forth to the mic?
Good exercise.
I want to there.
And I just want to put in a big pitch for the Visibility Brigade. It meets every Tuesday in 2 locations, Isperming and Marquette, and we're moving. Yeah, I'm going to let Cynthia talk about that, but tell the details about where to park. This is a really good weekly reminder to people driving through our area that we are not living in normal times. And there's this thing called hyper-normalization that is kind of settling in on the country at large. And I think there's a lot of people who kind of got their blinders on. And Visibility Brigade is a friendly, non-threatening reminder that, no, this is not normal. This is highly abnormal. This is, and you're not crazy to be thinking that. And you're not alone. It's really important. And Cynthia has taken the lead on this and has done an amazing job getting a crew together. We had 12 in Marquette, and so, and then, and we have been meeting at the Pioneer Park on the corner of Barriga and Front Street in Marquette, but we are moving back to the overpass on Altamont, and I'll let Cynthia talk about that.
Not too much else to say, except that the Ishpeming has been meeting in front of the courthouse, but that's changing. They're now going to meet at the West 41 roundabout starting next week. And there's also word going out about Nagami and when that's gonna start up, but I don't have word about that. If anybody ever has any ideas about themes, let us know about themes as well. And everybody's invited, and we always need more people. Yeah, starting next week, Altamont Overpass. And parking on Altamont, only on the west side of the street on Altamont or on one of the side streets, just so we don't block traffic and for safety reasons.
It's just a couple comments, actually. This last week, someone reposted, and I just wanted to remind everyone, I thought this was good to keep in mind, that we substitute the word protest, that we kick that out and say protector. I think words matter. I just had a long think about it. And I know in the past how good the right is at twisting the narrative. And so I would just like everyone to keep that in mind, to get out of the, I do it all the time, the protester thing, and just say we're defenders or protectors of the. The second thing is right before this meeting, watched in total disgust the Justice Department bring their charges against Comey again for an utterly ridiculous thing. And I'm not into social media, but I thought, wouldn't it be great if we started, got everyone to post a picture of be creative with your artistic abilities, and it was 8647. So there'd be millions of people putting that message online to make this whole thing, highlight how ridiculous it is. And anyway, that was a thought of a little something to do. I don't know. I don't really post a whole lot. I certainly would on this, but I don't know how to get something like that started. But I can just see everyone, if we got hundreds of thousands and millions of people to imitate this, it would just highlight how stupid it is. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
She growls when we're kind of growling. I just want to point out a couple things under the events. One, so Munising Informed, for some reason, popped up on my algorithm in Facebook and asked me if I wanted to join. But the thing that popped up was that Munising Informed, someone is hosting a pro-life town hall with Bergman on May 9th from 11 to 1 at the George Shiras Room at Peter White Public Library. I can show you a picture. It has this, like, gray-haired couple. That's the couple that's on there. I don't, yeah, for pro-life, yes, and it says, Bergman, and it says, all are welcome.
What's the date?
May 9th, 11 to 1. Someone on the Facebook page, when I posted it into Yoopers Unite, said something about, it's a Saturday, so it's after the post office, or it could be part of that post office, just around the corner, even if we went along the sidewalks. I don't know, who remembers? 45 in the Shiras Room. So, yeah, and that's what I wrote. It's a small venue. But my first response was when they had the Lincoln dinner and we decided to be outside of the Holiday Inn. I don't know if he'll show up or not, but it just seemed, I have the thing, yeah, I'll show you. Yeah, Sharon's also seen it, yeah. And I double checked the date, and so, anyway, we could do that as a breakout. We could talk about that if we want. I reached out to Blair because I remembered that I saw lots of great stuff from the Ukraine for Americans for Ukraine. I got the name wrong. The summit in DC. I saw the teddy bear, the wall of teddy bears to represent all the children that have been kidnapped by Russia. So I reached out to Blair and said, do you want to come and talk? And he said, absolutely. So I didn't want to do it tonight because it was going to be so close and I wanted people to be able to know that he was coming. And then May 5th is the commission meeting. So, and his son has a truck meet anyway. So May 12th, Blair will come to talk about the progress, even with Bergman, and some of the lessons that they learned from this time at the summit. So there is that. That's the only two new things I think I have. Oh, and then an email we got. There is talk about us voting if there should be a Michigan Constitutional Convention. And so if you look at I think it's on your agenda, at the very bottom of the second, on the short page, I just put a little link. About a 15-part educational series about if there should be a Michigan Constitutional Convention held or not. Don't ask me much more than that because I can't remember. I want to say it might be on the ballot to decide if we're going to do that in November, on the November ballot. We may get to vote to say yes or no there should be a Michigan Constitutional Convention. That's all I got for you, unless anyone else has more. Yeah. So that 15-part educational series. Because I don't know much more, Ruby. Do you got some? From my understanding, yeah. Can you speak before I try to maybe say something?
I've got Michigan has a state constitution. I maybe have 5% more information than you do because I asked about this earlier this year and forgot the answer. Asked our policy team about it. So don't quote me on this and go to the 15-part learning thing on it, I guess. There is I believe, a scheduled cycle where we have the option to hold a constitutional convention here in Michigan to do revisions or whatever, change things up in the Constitution. And I think that happens every X number of years, but it's like they have the option, and I don't quite remember if it's gonna go on the ballot. I do remember. Yeah, yeah. So the Constitution's been the same. It has not, but we have this option every once in a while to vote. And the thing is, like, I believe that what I was told was like, don't worry about it too much. It's probably not going to be a thing because there isn't a lot of motivation on either side to change it up too much. Like, it's kind of a high risk, maybe not super rewarding thing for either party to throw down on. So it's probably not likely to be super relevant in this election. But I mean, also, like, I don't know. I feel like predicting things is a dangerous business these days.
Yes.
But that's like the 5% more I know.
Yep, thank you, because that refreshed my memory, and what I know about it and what I've read about it agrees with what you were sharing. I will let you know that Deb White said that she knows Speaker Hall has supported it in some way. I don't know if that's been recent, but it's just something to kind of keep aware of in case that does end up on the ballot. So if you want to learn a little bit more, because that's the other, one of the things we do here is help each other learn. And you want to do like a little presentation? So, anything else?
Did we do the food pantry?
Food pantry, no update, I don't think. I didn't get any, no, nothing yet. So, yes, Chris is leading our July 4th float. However, last week when she said she would do that, she also said, but I'm not available really until June 1st. She's going to be out of town and stuff. When she came to me earlier, I told her she could leave. She seemed like she really wanted to go and do this other thing. I'm like, I'm not your parent, but sure, you could go. I know, I totally forgot. Because I would have said, no, we have cake. Anyway, I told her we could still have a breakout and people could continue some of the talk we had last week about this and continue keeping that ball rolling. There isn't a whole lot to happen right away, but I did tell her that we would have a breakout to keep that conversation going. The other thing that I am asking is if some people can help brainstorm other speakers or actions that we can plan here. Most of the speakers come because I either say it or sometimes someone else does. So I've been recruiting and I need help. And one of the reasons I asked the unofficial team if I could send out that email saying, hey, we need some feedback, was also I felt like I was up here reading what could be in an email. And I don't want that for numerous reasons. So I would love to spend some time with people, like what else can we do? Is there more that we can do here or not? So is there any other breakouts that we would like or conversations we would like? All right. Faith, can I have you kind of take some notes if people want to talk about the float? Thank you. And then I will take some ideas for other ideas for the meeting. Okay. Forgot one. See, I wrote it up here. The Marquette League of Women Voters on May 6th is having Max Engel, who is the Chocolate Township voting clerk, from 6:30 to 8:15, and he's going to be talking about barriers to voting. They usually at Peter White, so I assume that's where it's going to be. I'm seeing some head nods. So sorry about that. Yeah, I did forget that.
Off the air.